All right, picking up where we left off with the Niagara system. So last time we were making these emitter particles, and we got a cool little thing going on here. Lots of fun. I'm going to close that emitter. Let's create a new one. So I'm still in my VFX folder. I'm going to right click and I want to create a Niagara system. And again, I'm going to create an empty Niagara system there at the bottom left. So just click on create. And let's call this one NS underscore flame, because I'm going to make it look a little bit like a flamethrower. Create empty. It was in the bottom left hand corner. Just as we did before, I'm going to use a minimal emitter. So right click, add minimal emitter. For emitter summary, I think. No, properties. For this one, you're really going to want to use your GPU. So go to GPU. GPU does not work with dynamic bounce. So you need to switch to fixed.
So sim target GPU confused me.
Right click, add minimal emitter. And then click on properties at the top, change to GPU and fixed. And that'll take advantage of your GPU in your laptop instead of killing your CPU. And I'm going to shorten this a little bit. And then I'm going to go to emitter update, and we need to add a spawn rate. Well, no, I'm going to do a spawn burst to begin with. We're going to build up to our flare. Is that the right one? Spawn burst instantaneous. Yes, that's the one I want. So spawn burst instantaneous is what we've selected. I'm going to spawn around 500.
Yeah, this rat is going to burn with a kind of 500.
Well, this is, remember, that's a sprite or an individual particle. Under emitter update, I hit the plus sign and added spawn burst instantaneous. And then we need to add some velocity to those particles so that they're moving. And as you might recall from last time we did this, that's under particle spawn, and we just type in velocity. So add velocity. And again, we get this module has unfixed dependencies. Would you like me to fix the problem? Yeah. Fix the problem. Thank you. And then under our velocity mode, I want to shift to a cone instead of being linear. I'm going to shrink my cone. Well, I'm going to go up to 30 for my cone. And
You're going to 30.
oh, that was I changed the wrong one. Velocity speed was 25. Cone angle, I want to drop to 30.
Cone angle you're dropping to 30.
Yeah, I'm going to change that to 30. I'm going to up that speed. Let's go to 500.
Up the speed of 500. This is higher than
Well, it's going to be fire shooting. I'm thinking like a flame spell type. I changed the velocity speed to 500, and I changed the mode to in cone, and I dropped the angle to 30. I'm going to up my inner cone angle to maybe 5. My angle may still be too high.
It looks pretty good on my end. I guess it just, what is it? It needs to be a continuous thread rather than.
Well, yeah, this is a one-time burst right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, it looks like a one-time shotgun effect as opposed to a continuous thread.
And then I need to initialize the particle. Where's that at? I'm sorry? I went to, hold on, let me find it. I set my cone angle at 30 originally. I think the initial was 45.
I'm gonna do 30 just to see how it works. Because it, off of the preview, it looks pretty good because it looks like a controlled blast forward. And it's kind of what Flint Wheels are. So, controlled. Burst of flame.
And then I've got initialized particle under the particle spawn. And I want to shorten the lifespan. So lifetime mode is currently direct. I want to change that. Well, no, no, we're going to leave that as direct. Well, we may change that to random. I'm going to drop the lifetime to 3 and change the sprite size mode to uniform, just like we did last time. And again, I'm going to set that to 3. My lifetime may be too short. Oh, I'm not playing. I don't have anything showing. There it is. I'm sorry? Right now my directional is on the x-axis. So it does look like it's coming towards me. I'm going to change x to 0 and change it to y. There. You can see that now.
Let's do forward or wide forward?
Well, it depends on which angle you're looking at it.
Both.
Yeah, this is Unreal, so.
I'm thinking more about the player direction. Just like, what's it? If we have it to like set to be like facing the same direction as the player, but it's like on the wrong, it's sprays in the wrong axis, then the player could essentially just be firing backwards at himself.
Okay, so let's randomize the speed. So right now everything is shooting at 500, so it's really consistent in the look. But I want that to be a little more randomized. So here on the velocity speed, I'm going to click the down arrow and find select random age. Random range, I mean. Select. I think random range float, yes. And then there, I'm going to set the max to 600 and the minimum, let's go with 300 for starters. And you can see now I'm getting a lot more variety. And you can play with those numbers, find what's right for you. And we could do the same for lifetime in our initialized particle. So if I jump back here to initialize particle, lifetime, they're currently set to 3. I can hit that down arrow, find random range float, yes. And we'll set the max to what we have before, 3 seconds. So let's have the minimum to maybe 1.5. So all the particles are going to live a different lifetime, which again gives us a lot more variety in the effect. I went to 3. You could go longer. Okay, let's go 5. And now, if I save and compile and go back to my, I'm going to delete my old emitter. And I can drag this in. And it does, well, it does it every, I think 5 seconds right now. Okay, now, and I changed mine to the Y axis. I'm going to change it back here to the X here. It is X forward. So where was that at? Velocity? Yes. So let's change the cone so it's shooting in the X axis because they are.
I have no idea how. What is that looking?
There.
Hopefully.
So I'm getting some cool effect now. We're heading in the right direction. Now it'd be really nice. Oh, and by the way, if this is dragging your system, go ahead and pause it. If your system's having a hard time keeping up, you can always pause. It would be nice if we're going to have fire, we're going to have some smoke, right? So let's add some smoke. I'm going to right click up here beside the minimal, and we're going to add an emitter. And we need to find grid 3D. So type in grid 3D, and there should be a grid 3D gas. There it is, gas cached read emitter. Grid 3D.
Or,
And there's several kinds of Grid
several
3D.
Cash read?
I believe Cash Read is the one we want.
cash reads.
Cash Read Emitter. There are some others in there. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We want the master.
You want the
Why
max-
would you want anything other than the master?
Is that the base one?
That's the base one.
No, no. Oh, I see. The one that has a photo.
Yeah, it has a photo, an image of the.
Yeah, my computer is still processing and loading in the cache, so. Oh, my.
We want gas emitter.
Oh, gas master.
And this will take a few seconds to add.
Oh, yeah. My computer just froze for a second.
What was the add-on?
Oh, for the add-on to be able to do this,
Yeah.
plugins, Niagara Fluid. If you don't have that, you got to have Niagara Fluids for this, for the Grid 3D to be available.
Hey, click save. Click save.
Yeah, you should save.
I clicked save after adding in the gas master, and it took like a good 30 seconds.
And as you can see, just adding that, I automatically get a smoke effect. So back here to flame.
That is a complicated. I can see where the other ones were minimal.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more intense. That's why we started with the minimal. I didn't want to start you the first day with Grid 3D. That would be a little overwhelming. Okay, so in my minimal, I'm going to go to Particle Update, hit the plus sign, and add a Set Fluid Source Attributes. Set Fluid Source Attributes. If you type in Set Fluid, you should see it on there.
Source attributes.
Source Attributes.
Got it.
Set Fluid, and this is under Particle Update.
Oh, that is a very low volume.
Yes, it is.
Or maybe that's just the
The red box is your bounding box, yes. And then I'm going to, after I've added the Set Fluid Source Attributes, I'm going to come over here to Grid 3D Gas Master. There's so many jokes that could be made. But we'll resist and move on. I'm going to select Emitter Summary. Click on the Source tab up here at the top.
Particles. Yeah. Simulation source forces collisions rendered.
There we go. And for the particle, let's see. Okay, first thing I want to do is turn off the sphere. I don't want the sphere to be my source. So I'm just going to click on, yeah, disable sphere.
There goes the spear.
Yeah, if you, sphere source, the first tag is enable.
We turned off the spear and clicked save, and now it
we're going to change the particle source to an emitter. And particle reader, other, and we want that to be,
So,
well, no, we don't want it to, oh, what'd I do?
I clicked on the other.
We want it to be other. We want to type in the name of our minimal, which I should have changed it, but currently it's minimal. So get rid of none and type in minimal. Now, the source of my fire is from the same source as or the source of my smoke is going to be generated by the minimal emitter. Yeah, we will change the bounding box in just a moment.
Just reading my minimal unifier.
And then while I'm still with my Grid 3D Gas Master, I'm going to come over here to Simulation. It may take a second for it to get there. Come on, there we go. Now, currently, my blast is to the side, and my bounding box is high, which makes sense for smoke. But I'm going to change my world size so that my X, oh, what should it be? Let's make it 1,000. So it's going out in the X or forward direction. My width, I'm going to drop that to 300. And I'm going to drop the height to 500. We can always change these later if we're not happy with them. 300. That'll be the width of the maximum possible width. And then I want to give some place for the smoke to go, which is why I've given it 500 height. And then we can save it. And let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it'll stop at the edge of the box. So right now, this is launching in the middle. I'm going to select the emitter, and I need to change that local location. I think I can do it this way. Well, right now, but that's moving the whole box, though.
Is it following the small particle effect?
The smoke is following the particle effects, yes. Yeah, that's the world space it's changing.
Oh, why is it there? Oh, it's in the actual emitter
Is it?
stuff. Yeah, it's the pivot point.
Oh, right. So I need to make that a negative?
So it's going to be 0.50.
0.5. Okay. Let's see how that looks.
For 0.5
For the pivot, yeah, on the X. Oh, much better. Thank you.
And then
In my flame,
and then it's 0, 0. So it's 0 for y and z.
The smoke is like,
That one's 0.5. And then
thank you. So with Grid 3D gas emitter selected in my simulation, on my pivot point, I want that to be 0.500. X is 0.5, Y is 0, Z is 0. And that'll move it so that run up. Oh, wow. That's looking cool. I don't think, oh, I must not have saved. Because it should not be halfway up.
Should it be at the bottom of it?
It should be at the bottom.
Oh, that is just 0, 0, 0. Or no, it is 0.5.
It would be back to 0.5.
I thought it was supposed to be halfway up.
We could, but I don't want it done. So put it where you want it. There we go. Now we're getting a neat effect. Now, if you're not happy with your bounds, because, you know, at 1,000, I guess 1,000 centimeters, it is, yeah, so basically 10 meters out, it hits the wall. It's done. Now, we could shorten the lifetime to allow for that. But you can see you're getting a neat effect here. So bounding box, lifetime, velocity, all of those are going to affect how that works. You could change the scale of the box. That's your world size in the simulation.
2,000.
Okay? I'm going to go 1,500. And I'm going to go ahead and up my height to 600. Yeah, emitter summary, simulation, world size. Yeah, that looks really good. At 1,500. That's getting a nice effect. We're getting real close now. And now I'm going to go back here to my minimal. And let's play with this a little bit. So back on grid 3D gas, still in simulation. So emitter summary, simulation. And I want to find density buoyancy. Currently that's set at a negative 0.5. That is why the gas rises. The smoke rises. So that because it's a negative number, it'll go up. If you want the smoke to have weight to it or more density to it, make that a positive number. So I'm going to change that to 0.1 just to see what the impact is. Density buoyancy. On your gas emitter, still in the simulation, density buoyancy. Now we're getting some really cool effect. And the gas doesn't go as high, so my height isn't as important now. I'm liking where that's going. Let's play with the velocity a little more. So I'm going to go back here to add velocity. And I'm going to set this, I want it to go a little faster. So I'm going to set the low end at 800, the high end at 1200. Let's see how that looks.
You may need a bigger box.
You may need a bigger box.
You're gonna have some crazy range on this.
I might be going a little too high. So
Yeah, 'cause now it's sort of like a shotgun effect.
I think I'm going to go down to 600 and 1,000.
Make a really, really light piano.
Yeah, that'd be a great Canon effect. Yeah, I'm going to go 600 and 1,000 instead. And then over to my Grid 3D. And there is a setting in my emitter summary on the simulation. Make sure. Pressure solve iterations. Currently that's at 6. I'm going to up that to 12. How many times each tick should the pressure solve be calculated? So yes, this is expensive.
So you just double.
I've just doubled my calculations.
Cool. Well, that'll make things more fast.
Yeah. But wait, there's more. I'm going to go back here to source. And I want to turn on use streaking. Turn it on and find out.
Famous last words. You're just gonna explode.
Which thing? Use.
I turned on use streaking under source. Now, yeah, it's getting cooler and cooler.
This is, I think, like high level characters.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty demanding on the system. Now I want to go to collisions, still in Grid 3D Gas Master. I'm going to go up here to where it says collisions at the top. And I'm going to uncheck open boundary -Z. And this will force the smoke to run across the ground more. So you can see there's more smoke now happening across the ground as this happens. Okay, back in my minimal, select set fluid source attributes. If you want the smoke to be denser, up that number. The temperature setting is the how it maps the fire. So right now it's at a 1. Let's just up that a little bit, maybe a 5. And then how fast is this blast happening is handled by velocity scale and the velocity scale. That's how fast the blast happens. So I'm going to take that up to 2. That's cool.
effect in this mode.
Nice. It's getting scarier and scarier. Yeah, compiling does take a little bit of time. Make sure you're plugged in. That's why we changed over to GPU at the very beginning. If it was on the CPU, it would be really bad. If you would like your smoke to dissipate a little bit faster, you can go back to Grid 3D, to our emitter summary, to the simulation. Eventually we'll get there. And under attributes, we have the density settings. Currently, the dissipation rate is 0.3. And we have a subtraction and a resolution. So if you want to speed that up, maybe take it up to 0.5. That'll make the smoke dissipate a little faster. Yeah, dissipates a little faster now. Just now? Okay, let's play with the coloring. So back in Grid 3D, change to the renderer, and we're going to adjust the, let's see, change renderer temperature.
Hold on, now my computer's fighting me too.
So where it says render density, I'm sorry, render temperature, I'm going to select curve. And then if you click on temperature color, you can control what's happening there.
Oh, we changed it from none to curve.
Yes, and just doing that, you're going to get a difference.
So what did you click on to change the color?
I turned on the renderer temperature. I turned it to curve instead of none. And then you can adjust these temperatures all you want. The coloration.
Oh, I have to click the arrow in this. Okay. I'm not seeing the color.
I'm not seeing a lot change either.
You gotta do the smoke top.
Okay. Oh, well, that makes sense. So up here at the render color. Oh, and now we're compiling shaders. Oh, color from the curve. That makes sense.
Is that different? Does that make the pipe still look like small pool? Or is that different?
Well, we can always undo. This one? Oh, okay. So you click the,
Oh wow, I changed the smoke color and now the smoke is black. I can do my character lung cancer now by changing the smoke to black. Oh my god.
and we can save. See how that looks. Oh. Yeah, that's looking mean. Okay, but let's take it that next step. So back in my NS Flame, which is this the first time we've actually adjusted that part. I'm going to go to System Update. And here we control how frequently it does its thing. Do we want it infinite, once, or multiple times? I want it to do it once. And then we can choose how long the loop will last. Need to shorten this. There we go. And then in minimal, instead of using the instantaneous burst, spawn burst instantaneous, I can turn that off and add, yeah, spawn rate. And then again, spawn rates, let's up that. It could be pretty demanding. And then with my add velocity, let's narrow that cone a little bit. 30 is a little higher than I want. I'm going to go down to 15 and reset the inner cone to 0. And that's looking good. Let's see how that looks.
Yo.
Nice. Yeah, I would not want to get hit with that. Might want to change the particle lifetime. Okay. Go with 0.5 to 2. I may want to shorten it a little. I need to either make my bounding box larger or shorten it a little more. I think I'm going to drop this to 0.5 and make the max 1.5. My bounding box is, oh, right. That's under simulation. 1500 by 300 by 600. So I may want to enlarge that just a bit. Okay, now we're hitting it with fire. So, your assignment for Thursday is add a new button so that I can launch whatever. And it doesn't have to be fire. It could be green. It could be blue. It's whatever you want it to be. Create your own particle effect using the Niagara system. Add a new button to touch to activate that, and then set up an attack in the third person attack. So it will launch from them and hit them. Now think about that. Before this, we checked to see if we could do damage if they were in a radius, and that radius was a sphere, and it was like 100 centimeters. So basically within 3 feet. This, we're going to be hitting something much further away. But we still need to make sure it's in range of our magic effect.
And is in front, so if it's standing behind.
So we might not want to use a sphere. We might want to use something else to check for that radius. Because if it's standing behind us, we're not hitting it. So that's what I want you to do for Thursday. And then Thursday will be, well, I'm going to make that end of class Thursday. Because Thursday is going to be a work day to getting your RPG ready to submit as a final. All right?